Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the World Center of Racing tonight, live on LSRTV. It is the season opener for the IROC III Championship tonight at the Daytona International Speedway. The top 12 drivers, invite-only COTs on these plate tracks. We get set to get an exciting season kicked off. Do have the week off with the Rod Car Truck Tour Series, so LSRTV's presentation of the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions coming in tonight as well. Later on this evening, the iSuperSpeedway 500. A whole lot to get going tonight from the World Center of Racing, but before we get going to that, an exciting one on tap right now. Do want to welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko. As always, going to be Andy Kessler, and our driver analyst this evening up at the booth, Jared Haggerty. Joining us regularly earlier on in the evenings is Josh Ball. Josh is out there on a racetrack and currently on the top of the board. He'll be as well our LSRTV in-race reporter a little bit later on. But Andy, we've been at Daytona for a while. We've been at Daytona for the past month. This is kind of the end of speed weeks now, because although 1 week ago we saw the first official points race with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, the 500 coming up later on tonight, but our first taste of IROC at Daytona. Next week, we're not going to be anywhere near Daytona Beach, Florida, so Speed Weeks comes to a close and two very exciting races on tap.
No, you're right, Evan. I'll have to sell my house now that we've been living down here for a month, but no, I'm excited. Great racing here tonight with the IROC cars. These guys, 12 guys, small field. It's going to be tough to, you're talking the best of the best in the series here, so everyone's going to want to be up front. There's going to be a lot of battling side by side, and don't fret if you lose the draft. You're not going to fall back to 30th or so. You'll just go back to 12th. As long as you don't lose that draft, it'll be just fine.
And we do look at this field. It is a 12-driver field, and we did have the opportunity to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of the IROC Season 2 finale at the end of the most recent iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series season as well. So if you weren't with us, Rod Flagg took home his first career IROC championship by 4 points over top of Mark Jorgensen Jr. Those two drivers in the field tonight as well. Greg Hooks, the Season 1 champion, is in the field tonight as well. And you take a look at how the drivers qualified for this series. Jared, the invite sent out to the top 5 drivers from the previous season in the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series points, as well as remaining invites given out to fill the top 12 through previous feature race winners, and then as well by our defending champion. So these COTs are always fun, and a small field brings a whole different kind of aspect and atmosphere to these races that we see than what you'll see later on tonight with almost a full grid in the 500.
Absolutely, Evan. I mean, this has got to be probably the top elite drivers here in the iSuperSpeedway series. I mean, all these guys are proven to be able to run up front and make the moves when they need to, and it's going to be a great race to see how these elite drivers are going to be able to navigate with just them on the track, and they're not going to have any other traffic to get in their way.
And this race is already getting set to get underway. 40 laps around this 2.5-mile super speedway. It's going to be 100 miles total distance. And let's get the first part of our Friday night LSRTV doubleheader tonight with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series underway. And we'll take you down through the starting grid. Pole position in this one going to be awarded. How about Rob Minton get a start up there? He'll be piloting the number 1 machine. If you're new to tune into this series, the driver's numbers on the race cars will correlate directly with where they start on the grid, which puts that number 2 machine, Chris Bassini, evidently in second.
Third's going to roll off to number 3 of Rodney Wolford, and Josh Ball will be outside of row number 2.
Number 5 of Jason Altman is going to be running off 5th and starting to his outside, and number 6 is Donnie Garitano.
That the Merchant going to make his IROC start this evening. The number 7 car will roll from 7th. That's going to be the inside on row number 4, and outside in 8th position going to be Rod Flagg.
Josh Hanner in the 9 will start 9th, while Greg Hooks will start on his outside of row number 5.
Rounding out the field, number 11 is going to be Mark Jorgensen Jr., and the number 12 of Brendan Chaburko is going to start 12th.
And with that, 12 drivers get set to embark on a championship. But again, with this IROC series, always two things going on now on Friday nights on LSRTV with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, as well as the Rod Car Trucks. When there's no truck action, it's IROC action, and this is a very short season that these drivers are participating in, albeit though that these 4 races are going to be spread out. through the rest of 2015, almost all the way to the end as the entire Season 5 championship for the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, the main Cup Series, runs on through. 4 races, a lot of time in between races. Very crucial to get wins in this series. Right now, you take a look at the guys in this field. Robert Mitten going to be starting on pole position. How about some of the big-time winners, though? Only 4 drivers have ever won an IROC event. Mark Jorgensen Jr.'s got 1 to his name. Both Greg Cooks and Josh Haner have 2. And then Rod Flagg has 3. He tops them all, and out of those 4 drivers, 2 of which are champions in this series. We get set to get racing kicked off. We're going to be under the lights a little bit later on this evening, but it's mid-afternoon and overcast skies in Daytona. That means that it's going to be a little bit cooler than normal, and these guys are going to have a little bit more ability to play with these race cars in that pack of 12. The pace car going to get set and hit the safety of pit road, and we get IROC 3 underway. Pace car is down. Green flag flies. We're underway at Daytona, and the outside going to have the lead at the start-finish side. How about Chris Bassini barely at the start-finish? They go too wide, though, all the way down to corner 1 for the first time in lap 1.
That's right, side by side. Robert Mitten's looking for the lead all by himself. He's got some help from the 3 car of Wolford. Wolford now, he's giving him the good push off of turn number 2. Bassini, though, battling hard off of turn number 2.
And they push down the back straightaway. The 1 to 3 lead the inside charge. The 2 to 4 lead the outside charge. Still nobody making really changes to the bottom or the outside. They look exactly as they did now, as they did on the grid. Now the 8 machine going to be the first driver making a move. Ron Flagg really likes that bottom lane of the racetrack here. We'll probably see him at some point be on the bottom lane up front in the 500. And right now he's the first driver to swap lanes. Puts that 8 to the inside of the racetrack. He'll get behind Seth the Merchant.
Yeah, Rod is known for running on the inside. He's pretty much a dark horse, one that we like to mention a lot as being a dark horse. The person that bides his time on the bottom there. But as you see right now, the number 2 there is not getting any help as the Mancini is not getting any help there. Finally, he has the number 7. It looks like Seth the Merchant. Oh, sorry, I'm losing all my numbers trying to get from this series to the previous. But Seth Merchant there is going to make a run here on the outside. He comes out of 4, and he's got a big run coming out of 2 as he's going to go for the lead down the front stretch.
And it's going to be a drag race down towards the triangle through the forest. For a short shoot, rather, the Merchant not going to be able to quite get there yet, but does get within 15 1/1000ths of a second, brings it outside lane back up, and again, now they get it working, a couple cars up there, then 2 to 4 as well, just behind him. The Merchant may be onto something as he gets that big run off the top side of the racetrack and down to 32 degrees of banking on the Daytona Super Stretch. May not be enough, though. The 2 of Bassini not going to be able to get to the back bumper right now. The weather, though, interesting in this one, and you take a look at how it is. 80 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature, I guess. The track's only 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's overcast, so temperatures on these race cars not going to be a huge concern, but with a little bit more of a cool track means is that these guys can get a little bit more physical. Sometimes you really don't look at these plate track races as something where the cars are going to get slick, they're going to get loose, but if it's hot, it definitely is a factor. Tonight, they don't have to worry about that. This series takes the realistic weather settings from what it was like in Daytona Beach just one day ago. That's what we're running right now.
Yeah, and then, cooler track. Overcast skies, it needs more grip, means guys are more aggressive through the corners, maybe to jump down in front of somebody. It's definitely a cooler track, makes for some fun racing here. When it's hot and slick, it doesn't take much for these guys to get a little bit sideways and have some issues here. But look at Seth the Merchant there. He was battling for the lead a minute ago. Now he's helping him. He's falling way back now.
And all the way to the back, almost. He'll get in behind the 6 of Johnny Giratano. Was up there, and as you said, wasn't able to get clear. He just about got there, and then again, Cassini wasn't able to get there. And once that outside lost that momentum, again, we talk about you need cars up on the outside. You need a few of them in line working together. Once the back 2 fell off, they kept falling backwards. The outside died very quickly.
Yeah, what I've noticed here is that Seth the Merchant pulled right in front of drivers that are normally being up front. Mark Jorgensen Jr. and Greg Hooks, they're one of the only 2 winners here in this series, and it's really surprising to me that they have not tried to go to the front. And you can also see Chubhart, Reddit Jaburko, the number 12 there, he's not made any progression since let's drop the green flag. So, Evan, I don't know if I should be concerned right now, but what do you think with Reddit Jaburko's strategy of laying back here?
Well, he sits in 12th right now, and Andy mentioned before we started that if you're at the back, it's not like you're really at the back. 12th position would be pretty good later on tonight as far as still being in contact. The big thing for Jaburko and Hooks, I feel, is you need to stay in contact, and it looks like the sun's up on these cars, but I'm going to feel P12 for the number 12, not all that bad of a scenario. Granted, Jaburko might be waiting, which is something he's not known for. He's known for getting up there, going for it, and trying to lead every single lap. The 12 machine, staying patient at the back of this pack. And now, just like that, one more time around the racetrack.
Oh,
contact the
number 6
car! The 11, the 10 into the inside wall. That's a 3-car wreck out of the tri-oval. Caution flag will now fly. And under the yellow, trouble, though, strikes Donnie Giratano.
Yeah, it looked like what happened there. Giratano tried to shoot a hole and unfortunately thought better of it, came back down, and Jorgensen was already in that hole, and he just nailed Donnie Giratano all the way down, and they just nailed the inside wall. Unfortunately, it took the 10 of Greg Hooks there as well, and I don't think that's going to be a good way for him to get his second win here in the series.
And Andy, if they had spun maybe a couple hundred more yards down to turn 1, they wouldn't have hit that inside wall. They might have been okay. However, for both the 10, the 11, and the 6, they'll get involved, and that's some pretty good contact for those drivers. Going to have to try to bring those cars back to the pit lane and get them serviced. But a tough break in the middle of the pack. We talked about how you can't really be pushing in the middle of the corners here, and when that is the scenario, everybody gets checked up going through the tri-oval. The tri-oval essentially, though, corner in and of itself. It's very loose on these race cars, and it looked like they got all checked up, and maybe just Giratano, the odd man out, got kind of spit out of line once he hit the car in front of him, got hit from behind. Not a good combination.
No, just chain reaction. It's going to happen. When you're sucked up right out of the bumper of these cars, Evan, you can't see anything ahead of you, so... if these guys are checking up, you're hoping they're waving a hand, a little bit of communication on the radio. The spotters are letting them know. You're hoping that somebody is letting these guys know. And it looked like towards the back of the field there, they were able to check up. Otherwise, we could have had even more cars in this one. So it's just it's a tough break for those guys early on, but it's definitely something when you're in a big draft like this, especially up on the rear bumper of these other cars, you cannot see a thing that's going on in front of you.
A couple of these guys trying to get the pit row. It looks like Mark Jorgensen Jr. will have to take a tow. He lost the engine on that machine and evidently was not able to make it to his pit stall. Giratano, though, he's going to lock out. He gets his quick fix. He'll get back out on the racetrack, and, it's always good to be able to get that race car fixed, but we always have to mention that once you get it fixed, it means you can't get it fixed again. Something to keep an eye on. How about this tire strategy here, Jared? A couple guys look to the pit lane. Ronnie Wofford in the 3 is going to be up at the front of the field when it's all said and done. Josh Ball jumps out. Jason Altmans uses the grass to stay out of pit road. A couple of guys, though, did come down. Rob Minton, one of them.
Yeah, that was a very interesting pit strategy. I mean, you saw Rob Minton was committed the whole way, so... cars up front there, Rodney Wofford, Josh Ball must have pulled a fake out move on him, but those were the only 4 that stayed out. Now this is going to be a very interesting pit strategy when it comes to tires and fuel here, because these cars can only run about 42 laps on a single tank of fuel. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what is going to happen here, if they're going to run out or not, because I don't know if these guys are going to have enough to go to the end, but if this is the only caution, that's going to put fuel strategy in the mix here.
Everybody getting grouped back up. You'll take a look at the updated running order. Rodney Wofford is going to go to the race lead, still the number 3 machine up front. Then you got Josh Ball, Jason Altmans, Rod Flagg, Rob Minton and company. Minton was in 5th position when he elected to come down pit road. the one machine's out there. But again, the car going to go all the way to the back of all of this. Obviously, the guys involved in that incident. Strategy, though, very interesting, and we'll see always the different aspects of it throughout the Friday night series here with the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series. And you want that to find always interesting because of the mix that these guys are going to have later on in this season of these endurance races, and then the A main and the B main races, which we'll continue to see, and those will really get kicked off next week. But in IROC, the 40-lap race time, that is essentially how long of a race you're going to be having in the A and the B main races later on in the year. Completely different approach you have to take to a race of this length than a race of 100 and plus laps like we're going to see later on tonight with the 500. A lot of guys like to stay back. They don't want to be in things. Cheburko stayed back. You think that was good. The top 3 cars in front of him wrecked, though. He was almost in it, so it's very hard to gauge what a lot of these guys like to do. Some guys don't touch the outside lane at all. Some guys don't touch the inside at all. Everybody's got their own little trick to it.
Oh yeah, everybody's got their own theory, their own method, their own pit strategy. It's a game, and it's a big chess game, especially when you're out on these big super speedway tracks. And you know, sometimes your strategy will work some races. The next race, it could be totally not what works. So it's all a gamble. It always has been. There's always the safe bet. Some of these guys, like the one at Wofford when he came down pit road, you know he can make it to the end now on fuel. So, you know, does the 3, or excuse me, not Wofford, Mitten came down the pit road, but is Wofford going to be able to save enough fuel, or any of those guys going to be able to make it? It's all a game, all a strategy, but a lot of times you just want the track position.
So this restart going to come up, and it's going to put lap number 10 in books. We'll start lap number 11, so already a quarter distance home in the IROC III season opener with race 1 of 4 on this new championship on the line. It is going to be the 3 car. No, it's not Brandon Cheburko. Rodney Wofford in that number 3, started on the inside of road 2 when it started this race. Going to be in control, and it will lead us back to the green flag. Pace car going to get down and out of the way, down to the safety of pit road. Green flag drops right on cue, back in the air, and we are underway. Everybody all on top of each other. No big advantage for one lane or the other. Check up back in the pack. They're about row 5. 3 wide, the 11 to the outside of the racetrack. Look at the run from Jorgensen.
Wow, what a big run from Jorgensen as Cheburko gives him a heck of a phrase over the radio there. But 3 wide to make that. I don't know if he's going to have the momentum here now, as he's going to actually, no, he's going to have the momentum. He has the number, it looks like the number 2 is going to jump up there with him, and he's got, now the 4 jumps up there with him as here go, I'll leave Rod Flagg here out to dry, but he finds a place in line, and Jorgensen making a big move there, and his teammate, the Henrik boys, number 4, they find each other finally as they're going to try to make their way to the front here, coming through the tri-oval, completing lap number 12.
Then 8 kind of lucked out because typically the car that goes to the outside will be seen media time that the guy in the middle lane of the racetrack, or at time the outside lane of the racetrack, get a little bit slow, and instead of having patience, the guys behind them say, okay, we're going top side, and a lot of the time that does not work. That 11 Jorgensen, these guys know that he's fast, and again, you can't tell from those car numbers, but Josh Ball Jorgensen teammates, so they go to the outside of the racetrack to help each other. Ron Flagg was able to slot down in line, as you mentioned, Jared, so he sits right now as a close call. Flagg sits in 5th, little bit of a close call there with the one machine Rod Pitt, as well as the number 11 up on the outside of the racetrack. Nothing else going to come from that. Jorgensen, though, big interesting thing in all of this is that the 11's a lap down, Andy, so he has some incentive to pass the race leader, get a caution, and get back on the lead lap. Got to do it the old school way.
Yeah, got to do it the hard way at this point. Hopefully, I mean, they get the caution and he's not in it, he'll get that lucky dog, but right now he's got to work his way the hard way, and he's doing a great job of it right now, pushing Josh Ball to the front. That highlight, just those 2 cars are doing a heck of a job right now down the back straightaway, getting a huge run as they head back into turn number 3.
And just 2 cars on the outside earlier in this race. We saw 4, we saw 5. They were able to get up there and challenge, but not do anything with it. Can the 11 and the 4 get something cooking on the outside of the racetrack? That time by the start-finish line, Josh Ball going to have his nose in third spot at the start-finish line. Oatman's second on line on the inside of the racetrack, second on the scoring pylon that time by. Bassini is the last driver on the lead lap. The number 2 machine back behind Hanner and Tuberchik, as well as Tuberco is the last on the lead lap. Guys like Jorgensen, Hooks, and Giratano hoping that they can get a caution, get those wayfinds, get back onto the lead lap. But again, not only would a caution help those drivers out as far as getting on the lead lap and that strategy aspect, but again, we also saw some guys come down, some guys not come down. That also could be a factor depending on how hard these guys are running, which could play a factor, Jared, maybe if you're a guy trying to save fuel, to be at the back and you're not up front. The guy up front is using the most amount of gas. The guys in line, they're constantly lifting, so you could see some guys hanging back to have that fuel insurance as well.
Yeah, right now, I've been watching this right now. The person I'm liking the most that pitted on that last time was the only person that finally pitted, that number 1 of Rod Mitten. He decided to come in there, get some tires, get some fuel, and the rest of the top 4 stayed out. But right now, you see there, he's sitting third in line on the bottom there. He's going to be having a good time being able to save his fuel because he's going to be riding right behind there. That means he's not going to be able to be using a full throttle all the time. He's going to be able to bend that throttle all the way around the track. So that's going to lead for him to save a lot of gas here, and he's going to be in pretty good shape here for the final finish. Right now, another person who's really impressed me, the number 4 leading that outside charge, Josh Ball, the defending iSuperSpeedway Series champion, is running on that outside. He actually wants to get to the lead now from the number 3 here of Rodney Wofford, and it looks like he's going to challenge him down the backstretch.
Nobody inside the top 4 right now has ever won an iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions race, trying to change that here tonight. And the outside getting some support, but not quite with them yet. The 11 to 4 close call there is on the left rear of the race car. A little bit close again, lap down, but in the middle of the pack, Andy. A lot of guys that aren't teammates with those guys not going to like the fact that there's a lap car right there. The 4, though, obviously communicating with his teammate in the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. They're working together, and look at this, guy's getting impatient on the bottom. The 5 of Altman, Stodebelt going to the inside on Wofford. He got real close with Jorgensen down the 1. Things heating up as we just get about 3 laps away from halfway. Side pinching starting to get real exciting.
Yeah, that side draft's working real good for the 11 car. He just got a huge run. Give that 4 of Josh Ball a good push here as they go back into turn number 3. On the bottom side, though, Ottman's he's doing a great job right now pushing Wofford. I'm not sure he wants to be out in the lead right now, burning all that fuel. If this thing stays green, he's going to be the one in trouble. And we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But the 11 of Mark Jorgensen doing a heck of a job on the outside with his teammate Josh Ball. Just those 2 guys able to hang tough up there in the front row.
The support that they had coming from the rear is going to fall back off again. So just Josh Ball and Mark Jorgensen Jr. on the outside of the racetrack as they work right now. But still Wofford in front. Altman's working with him. Seth the Merchant would not feel comfortable sitting in front of that 7 right now. Really didn't have to do a whole lot to get to where he was. He started on the inside of row 4 right now, inside on row 3. Contact now, the 5 and the 11. Jason Altmans pushes up the hill, gets into Mark Jorgensen Jr. The 11 is going to get pushed out of line and falls back. That could have very easily been a much worse of an incident. Luckily, though, that only registered as a tap to the door. The 11 goes high, he'll regain it, and Josh Ball going to really lose a lot from this one because now he's got no help from behind for about 2 car lengths.
No, he doesn't have any help at all, and that was a big, scary moment for Jorgensen there as he makes contact with the number 9. Jorgensen does a wall down the backstretch, and caution does not wave, but Jorgensen, oh no, that is such an unfortunate incident. Jorgensen went down to make a move, tried to overcorrect, and got into the 8 of Rod Flag there, and that's pretty much going to end Jorgensen's night as he was already in that first caution and does no longer have any resets.
And the unfortunate part about that is the 11 gets turned by the 9, who was a little bit off of the yellow line. You'll see right now Josh Hanner moves up the racetrack, hits the 11. The 11 comes down, gets into Rod Flag. Somehow nobody else involved in that one, but that's 2 team cars making contact down the back straightaway that gets that car involved in Jorgensen's team. team going to park it on the night. They will come home 12th out of 12 cars, not the way that they wanted to start a 4-race championship hunt and try to end up on top of this IROC title 3 races from after tonight's race. And that was at the back of this pack now, so as we fall down to 9 drivers on the lead lap right now, and 9 of them all in this main pack, just 0.6 of a second, separate your race leader back all the way to Chris Cassini. This time by, cross flags in the air, 20 down and 20 to go at Daytona. We'll take this quick opportunity to step away on LSRTV, and we will go LSRTV non-stop. So you'll keep an eye on all the action up at the front of the field. From Daytona Beach, Florida, this is the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions season opener for the Daytona International Speedway. You're watching it on LSRTV.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number 1. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone is just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warriors Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12-hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6-hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Well, back live at the Daytona International Speedway, and big trouble strikes this field just at the cross flags point in the season opening race with the IROC III Championship. Trouble at the front of the field. Rodney Wofford gets turned around after Jason Altmans gets into the number 4 of Josh Ball, and those old cars go for a ride, and now many of them going to find themselves one lap to the negative. Just now down to 7 drivers on the lead lap for the last couple of laps in this race, guys. We saw things were getting dicey up front, and The big issue for these guys that I always find is the staggering on these race cars, Andy. If everybody was lined up perfectly on each other's door, you can get away maybe with hitting somebody in the door. Not that I would suggest it at 200 plus miles an hour, but when you're staggered, they're not quite even, you might be clear. There's a little bit of differential. These cars move around on the back bumper of each other. Really, that's the only reason why those cars got together. It wasn't an overly aggressive move on anybody's part, just bad timing. Jason Altmans goes up the slightest bit. There's a left rear quarter panel there where he goes up, contact, and especially when it happens on the front row, for most of the part, the guys behind there have absolutely no way to get around. All things considered, though, a lot of guys got real lucky. And I told you Seth the Merchant was stalking. Well, now that number 7 car is in the race lead.
Yeah, he did a great job getting through all that smoke and cars spinning, and no, he did a great job. Seth did getting through that unscathed. Now he finds himself in the lead. Great job by the 2 also, Pacini. He was able to get through that. No, great job. A lot of big hitters. Looks like they're going to get a little wave here, so it's going to put a few of them back on the lead lap here. But yeah, tough break for a lot of those guys. The only good benefit to most of them, the guys, because they were running up front, they hadn't used their fast repair yet. So you'll hopefully be able to see them make their way back up to the front here in the second half.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to make sure that these guys are going to be able to get back up there. I mean, some of these guys are having just a really, really good run, and it's really unfortunate that happened. But for some guys, it wasn't that bad, because right now you see the number 7, the Seth the Merchant. He was able to get through that clean, and so was the number 2, Chris Pacini. Guys, not necessarily we hadn't seen up there tonight or in general, but these guys actually know how to run up front, and now they're going to get their chance to go for the win here.
The lights do go out on top of the pace car, so we do get set to get this one back under green flag conditions. Seth the Merchant, as you guys talking about, does go to the race lead in this one. Looks like all of the drivers that had fallen off the lead lap aren't going to be able to get away by, so now we go back to 11 drivers out of the 12 that started this one on the lead lap for this next restart. Only driver not back on the lead lap, no longer in the race. Again, Jorgensen, we saw that contact with his teammate down the back straightaway. He ended up spinning into the inside wall. No yellow. That team elected to park at said point, and they'll come home shotgun on the field tonight in 12th spot. So you got Seth the Merchant, Chris Pacini, Altmans, Hanner, and Flag throughout the top 5. A couple of those guys that were involved in the incident, like Josh Ball, not as far back, more than 8th position on the racetrack. That is still well doable.
Oh, it definitely is. Small field, we talked about it earlier. Being in the back isn't such a bad thing. Anybody can move up 12 spots with a little bit of help to get to the front here. It'll only probably take them a couple laps to do it. So up together if they can do it and have the patience enough to get up to the front.
And this race now just with 15 laps to go. The pace car gets down and out of the way. Green flag flies. We're back underway at Daytona. The inside lane significantly fuller than the outside. Just Pacini and Hanner, only drivers that were elected to restart this race at an odd number starting position that did not take a wave fly. That is going to be the inside, has a significant advantage. Down to quarter number 1 for the first time right now. You'll see the 5, the 8, the 1, all on the bottom. Things getting a little bit strung out going back on that inside lane, but things definitely not any better up on the high side.
No, it's not better on the high side at all. And Josh Hanner just radioed to Chris Pacini. I gave it all I had, man, but there was just nothing you could do. All those guys on the inside, as Hanner actually makes a move down to the inside, he cuts right in front of the 10 of Greg Hooks there, hooks to the outside. Now he's going to be leading the outside charge here with Roddy Walford. He's going to be coming up here on Chris Pacini. Maybe he's going to be able to give him some help, as for some reason the 7 actually got separated there. Now he's going to be a victim to the number, I can't tell what number that is from a view here, but he's going to be getting passed by number 5 here coming on the outside.
And now the outside, 4 cars strong versus the inside, 4 cars strong as well. Top 8 starting to lead. Brandon Chiburko, Donnie Garitano, and Josh Ball well in the dust. Now on the outside, going to be enough of a push. Jason Altmans gives the assist there to number 2 of Chris Pacini, but Altman's going to be able to get down and in front. That's an old school iSuperSpeedway pass. The outside, 1 car gets clear and get down. Altmans will get to the top spot in this one, and we have seen tonight that green flag passes for the race lead have been scarce. The 5 car trying to hold on. He's got 13 laps to go.
With 13 laps to go, but that high side still very, very strong right now. That 10 of Greg Lopes has got the help from Rodney Wofford, and they're trying to get that 2 car, Bassini, some speed right now. Bassini was fast when he had the 5 in front of him, but for some reason, right now, as now I say that, now he's got a big run right now from Greg Hooks, giving him a real good push down into turn number 3. Not going to be enough to maneuver him this time by, but off of turn number 4, we'll see if these guys can get a good run off the front stretch. But continuing to lead right now, Ottman's off of 4.
Yeah, but I've noticed that Chris Bassini has not been able to lead a pack very well. He's been able to push everybody to the lead, but unfortunately, you see there, he's getting right there to the outside of Greg Hooks. And yes, he does have a little bit of momentum as they get contact briefly. Oh, and Bassini there getting a little bit swirly. But as I said again, you see Altmans is able to get him right there. He's not able to pass him all the way and pull down in front of him, but it looks like they're going to have a big run. Hooks wants to push Chris Bassini. He says, hey, I'm moving in here. I want to go to the lead. You better get out of my way. As Chris Bassini is actually now a good 1 car length as they head into 3. It'd be a good time to come down, but no. Chris Bassini says, no, I like it here on the outside as Altmans goes back to the lead.
And for a moment, the outside going to have more cars than the inside. 3 up top, 2 down low as everybody tries to regain composure and catch back up. Wofford can really give whichever lane he chooses to go with. The big advantage in this fight, that 3 car sitting right now 5th on a racetrack behind a set of 2 wide, 2 rows deep in front of him. Looks like he wants to stay with the outside of the racetrack, so he'll push Hooks in the middle of Wofford and Bassini. Down the back, though, here's where the outside gets the big run. DeMerchant not pushing Altmans. Chris Bassini going to get clear for the race lead, trying to hang on to bring Hooks with him. Not going to get clear to do so, and because of that, those drives kind of work together. Bassini not going to take that spot down in line. He'll stay up there, and as long as the outside has the advantage, he can continue to play with this. Now, if the guys 6th on back catch up, the inside's going to have a lot more cars, and Bassini may have to just go for it, but right now, trying to help out his teammate Greg Hooks behind him.
Yeah, trying to help him out, trying to get him to the lead. We're waiting for him to get clear. Not enough help, though, as his second tack now finally wised up. Got all single file. Now here they are, back in the mix of things here with 10 laps to go. So a great job by all those guys. Now we're going to have ourselves a big battle for the lead.
Yeah, right now you have the big city motorsports guys of Bassini and Hooks on the outside, but right now on the bottom side, you got the number 7 and number 3, the Wicked Autosports guys. Rodney Wofford and Seth DeMerchant, they are hooked together, but Rodney is going to leave his teammate. Actually, no, that was planned. They're going to leave. It looks like Jason Ullman's there for a second, but Jason Ullman's was way too far out there in front. And I mean, these teammates, I don't know if they're going to be working together, but he actually shuts the door on Rod Flagg, who's trying to come in there and take that spot away. Rodney Wofford said, nuh-uh, you are not taking this spot from me. And as long as those 2 teammates are going to stay together, I think they actually have a really good shot. Now, don't get me wrong, the number 2 and 10, Chris Bassini and Greg Hooks, they made a good job, but as long as they stay together, the team aspect is going to work here in the end.
And with that limited number of cars, that team advantage, let it be just 1 or 2 guys, especially Hendrick, who had 3 into tonight before they really all got tangled up with each other. Having 2 cars on the team, a lot more of an advantage. That's a quarter of the field nearly in this race for the Hendrick guys earlier on. It's a lot more of an advantage with this smaller field to dictate the pace of this race than it would be, say, with an entire full car field. The one going on the outside of the racetrack and going backwards. The Rob Mint machine going the wrong direction. He'll fall back between the 2 and the 10 machine. Now all the way back behind Greg Hooks. Hooks still not, though, the last car on the lead lap. Behind him, Josh Hanner still trying to do something. Donnie Giratano and Josh Ball all trying to join the party, but continue to struggle to hang on to this lead pack. And now it's just the Rod Flagg left up to dry. Wofford gonna hop up and think about working with them. No, not quite yet. The defending IROC champion in trouble, going the wrong way.
He's going the wrong way because he decided to make a move to the high side. Thought he'd get some help. Didn't get any help. Taberco instead went to the bottom line. He wanted to move up another position and did. He's going to sit 4th right now. His flag's trying to hold out Bassini and the 10 of Greg Hooks. They're trying to make the inside work after they were trying to work on the outside. Now here comes Taberco onto the outside. Oh, and a big fake right there. Taberco goes to the outside to try to help Flagg. Flagg says, nope, left me out to dry. I'm going back to the bottom.
And just in the nick of time, everybody else? Well, they've caught this lead back. Chaburko wants to go to the outside on the Merchant. The 7 going to shut the door again to the outside, a retaining wall. How about 3 wide for second at the stripe? May not be the most viable option, though, for Brandon Chaburko. He'll stick it up there, though. He still has that 2 of Chris Passini. He saw Passini on that 3rd lane of the racetrack earlier tonight. Chaburko wants the spot in line. No longer existent. And that 12 car who was riding in 12th, Jared, no longer just sitting back and watching.
We are used to Chaburko making these kind of moves, but I didn't expect to see him. Actually, I just looked out in the lap car. We've only got about 5 laps to go here in this race, so it is down to that crunch time. You have, at this point, if there's a caution within 5 laps of the race, that is going to be game over, because there are not green, white checkers in iRacing. So everybody's going to be going super hard here as they're going 3 wide to the triangle. Greg Hook splits him on the outside. He's going to the outside, bringing Chaburko and Giratano with him.
And it's Ball who finds himself sunk at a wrong spot. He is going backwards in the middle lane of the racetrack. Chaburko, Passini, not quite clear. Olmo make it clear down out of the corner. Chaburko now clear to come down to that middle lane of the racetrack, or what is the outside. Look up front, though. Jason Oltmans to the inside on Rodney Wofford. Not there, but the 5 sticking those to the outside. The 3 came up to shut that door, and the 5 tried to squeeze that car between the driver's side door, the 3 and the double yellow line. Andy, these COTs are about as wide as a city block, so that really didn't work that well.
No, there's not enough room. It may have looked like he had enough room, but there sure wasn't. He tried to force the issue. Didn't work this time, but here comes that outside line again with 4 laps to go. They're trying to make it happen here. Josh Hanner, he's leading the charge. He's got help from Hooks now. They're falling back just a bit, but here's on the backstretch where they typically get that run. Chaburko's trying to get up there and give these guys a push, but right now, Rodney Wofford trying to hang on to the lead, but that outside line is coming on to the turn 3.
They made up about 4 car lengths down the Daytona super stretch alone. Now 4 cars on the outside. This is now a race. 3 laps to go this next time by Chaburko in line with the outside. Does he take it 3 wide? Does he work with those other 2 cars in front? It's going to be Josh Hanner at the start-finish line. 3 laps to go at Daytona. This race far from over, but again, as you mentioned, your caution could come at any point. You can't sit back and wait. If you see an opening, you got to go for it.
Yeah, you definitely have to go for it here. I mean, Greg Hooks is doing all he can to push Josh Hanner to the lead right now. And unfortunately, the 12 of Chaburko there is getting a little bit impatient, as I would be too. I mean, these guys have to go. They have to make something happen. So if you see a hole, you have to try to make that car stick and pray to God that no car comes down into your space. As you can see, number 10, the 5 actually is going to go the outside now. Oh, look at this! There it is!
Down to the
Oh,
Rodney Wofford in the fence, cautions out, still wrecking down to corner
Stop
number
the
1. The Merchant in the lead now, but who was leading when the caution flag flew? It is showing Rodney Wofford as the race leader. Typically, it'll be referred back to the most recent scoring loop, which is the start-finish line. However, when that incident happened, the 5 car gets wrecked out of this race. Wow, and you were just saying over the radio, Jared, you think that this one's going to Josh Hanner. Trouble finds the number 9 machine, and I don't even know where to pick up on this. Race finish evidently under review. Hanner goes down to the grass. That's it. Immediately, Jason Oltmans knows that this race may end if a caution flag comes out. So the 5 goes to the inside on Wofford, turns the 3 at the stripe, and then the 8 may have come through, would have been the fastest. He gets hit by the 5, and they all wreck. It looks like when the lights come on top of the pace car, though, the car in the race lead, and taking a look on my end of things, at the point of caution, the 5 is in the lead, Andy, but because he wrecked, I do very well think this may be Seth the Merchant's.
Yeah, I think he was in the right place at the right time, and that's twice here tonight that he was able to dodge a big wreck. So a great piece of driving by Seth the Merchant as everybody's slowing up here to try to let the pace car catch up so we get the field just right here at the finish as we are on the white flag lap. But Seth the Merchant, great job here tonight. Kind of quiet, riding around, just biding his time about mid-pack all race long. And then at the end of the thing, there he is, able to dodge his second big wreck, and he might have himself a win.
We always know that when these races come down to the end, we can see the possibility for those big incidents, Jared. We see them in the B mains all the time, but that one was quite exciting. We're going to go into 3 and 4 for the final time and take the checkers here, but what an exciting finish. They're 4 wide down to 1. Nobody knows who won this race yet. Provisionally, it'll be Seth the Merchant, but we don't know.
Yeah, right now there's people trying to get back into line because they did not fall below minimum speed. That's one thing on iRacing here. If you fall below minimum speed, you are not going to be able to keep your spot. But if you kept your speed, you're going to be able to get that spot back. So right now it looks like the 10 is actually going to move into second position. The 10, which is Greg Hooks. And no, right, the order's so shuffled up right now. It looks like, no, they're going to give the win to the 5. The 5 of Jason Altmans is actually going to win this race. And second is going to go to Rod Flagg. The number 10 of Greg Hooks. Third, Seth the Merchant goes all the way back to 4th. And 5th will be Josh Ball.
Well, I did say it was Jason Altmans in the number 5 in the race lead at the point that the caution lights came on. So it would be pretty cut and dry, Andy, that the 5 was in front when the lights turned on. Okay, fair deal. But because he was, in the process of getting turned by Rod Flagg when that light came on, he ended up wrecking, and the first clean car to get through, we'll call it, was Seth the Merchant. But provisionally, in that crazy finish, your race winner is going to be Jason Altmans. Not only the fact that they have to look at not only the point of caution and if he would be, taken away from that number 1 spot after he's wrecked and, was able to get back, which is why it was a good point by Jared, maintaining minimum speed. He had to get back going. He never technically went all the way around. But as well, race control needs to look at the fact that the 5 went below the double yellow and turned the 3 car to really kick that wreck off. So there's a whole lot of things they're going to be looking at.
Yeah, there's definitely
bunch.
Yeah, go ahead, Andy. Because I was
just saying, it's gonna be I'm looking back at some replays now and trying to decide how they do this. I really think the 7 deserved this thing. He made it through that whole thing clean. He did a great job. I know those guys may not have gone below minimum speed, but I really think getting wrecked like that, I think they need to go back. But we'll see what happens. It's up to race officials, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Jason Altmans, he spun through the grass, guys, and he Dukes of Hazzarded it over some sort of an access road down in turn 1. iRacing gives the win at the start-finish line to Jason Altmans. However, things still very fluid. So race control, I'm going to continue to go over the footage, and we'll step away for just a brief moment, come back from Daytona, and hopefully have some official results for you. You're watching the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions. Race winner to be determined. We'll be right back for the virtual Daytona International Speedway on LSRTV.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle.
We're back live at a virtual Daytona International Speedway after a controversial, exciting finish, and Race Control had to take a look at it a couple of times, but the official running order is going to be nothing like what's going to be showing on your screen. So what you're going to see across the top of your screen on the ticker and such, that is the unofficial results as of the start finish on it, as of the point of caution. This race has been changed by Race Control, and your official results are going to be 7, 4, and 6. So Seth the Merchant will be awarded with this race win. Josh Ball is going to come home in second, and a third spot to Donnie Giratano. So they cross the line 4, 5, 6. They come 1, 2, 3, and to get the post-race show kicked off for the IROC season opener, Jared, you're caught up on pit lane with the driver of the number 6 car.
Yeah, I'm here with number 6 at Donnie Garantano. And Donnie, you got through that wreck all right. You were actually way back there through that last little stint. Tell me how you turned a 6th place going there at the line to a 3rd place.
Man, I just got lucky there at the end and made it through that wreck.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was an impressive drive, and I was really rooting for you all race long. And I mean, was it rough out there with the COTs? They seemed like y'all were really, really aggressive throughout the whole race.
Yeah, it was rough. It was it was tough. It was hard to suck up with the draft, and once you got up in the pack, man, it was everybody was weaving and bobbing all over the place.
Do you find it was more or less difficult to control the car, you'd say, when you got behind in the draft, or was it more or less you could just ride in line there?
It was pretty difficult. It felt like the car wanted to push. You kind of had to be on top of it, you know.
Well, despite that fact, I mean, you turned a 6th place into a 3rd place. That was really impressive, man. Is there any sponsors and shoutouts or people you want to thank for that 3rd place finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Rod and what he does with the league and you guys for broadcasting. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the night.
Well, we appreciate it, Donnie, and as always, thank you for coming up here and talking with us.
All right, Jared.
That is the number 6 car of Donnie Garitano, and I believe Andy is caught up with the number 4 of Josh Hall.
That's right. I'm down here on pit road, and I have caught up with the 2nd place finisher, Josh Ball. Josh, kind of a crazy ending there, but you did a heck of a job there trying to weave and dodge your way through all that big mess there, and you come home with a 2nd place finish here in the season opener.
Yeah, today was a crazy race. You know, I was started up front, then I went to the back, and I was up front again. I ran the high side by myself. Me and my teammate Mark Jorgensen, we were using some handbrake power on the outside there. We were able to keep together and stay up on the high side for, I'd say, 5 laps, at least 5 to 10 laps by ourselves. And then all of a sudden on the backstretch, I got turned by the 5 car going into 3. And I was pretty much battling back from then. And it was quite difficult. I don't know if anybody out there has driven these cars recently, but if you're the last car or the second last car in line, you are just having terrible time with the draft model just keeping up. So, you know, for the last couple laps, I got to thank Donnie Garitano. He stayed with me, and we were able to push back up to the pack there. And obviously, coming down to the white flag, we had a little bit of mayhem.
Yeah, there was a little bit of mayhem, but overall, I mean, a fantastic race. 11 of the 12 cars finished on the lead lap. All 11 were in that top pack at the end because of some great racing in the closing laps to everybody to really hook up and get that draft up to the front. So congratulations on the 2nd place finish. Great way to start the IROC season. And anyone you want to thank for this one?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to, LSRTV for putting on the broadcast. Laura, Evan, Andy, yourself, and Jared coming out tonight. Obviously, Rod Flag for always putting on this league. And, I got to thank my teammates, Josh Hanner and Mark Jorgensen that were in that race. Unfortunately, had a little bit of problems for them. But good luck to the rest of the night to everybody else in the 500.
That's right. Congratulations again. That's Josh Ball, 2nd place finisher here tonight in the season opener in the IROC series. And I think Evan has caught up with the race winner.
Well, he crossed the start-finish line back in 4th position, and he'll end up with the race win after 2 sets of official race reviews. Your winner tonight for the IROC III season opener is Seth the Merchant in the number 7 machine. Seth, first off, congratulations. I guess the bottom was the right place to be at that time, but that's where you were pretty much all race long. We made a note that Brandon Chaburko in the 12 was being calm early on. Well, that changed about halfway on. But that 7 machine, I said you were just kind of lurking there on the inside, waiting to make a move, and it ended up being the right spot for you to be in.
Yeah, I kind of got lucky there because I ended up, I think, with about 15 to go, getting to the lead, and everybody freight trained me. And from about that point on, I just rode in line there until the end of the race, and I made it through that wreck.
And in the right spot at the right time, you make it through. You end up front when it counted. The 5 initially scored as the race winner. They reviewed it, still gave it to the 5, reviewed it again, and then they gave it to the 7 machine there. How long did it take you to find out you won this one after the checker actually dropped?
About 30 seconds ago. I didn't even know. I got off because I didn't think I even got top 3 for an interview.
Well, congrats.
And then I was getting messaged on Facebook, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go do an interview.
Yeah, I told him about that, Evan.
Well, we guess bearers of good news we are, and you're able to get that win. So you joined the list of drivers, which, by the way, is a very small list of drivers that do have wins in this IROC series. Many thought that you were going to be walking away with that Season 4 iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Championship, just how strong you have been since you came to this series full-time. Evidently, you're going to be gunning for that Season 5 title, I know, but with a 4-race championship like this IROC series, getting a good start is obviously a big, important step in that process to getting this one as well.
My plans for this is just to get consistent finishes, but since there's so little races, you can't screw up once. You have to finish like up front every single race. One mistake in one race can cost you the championship.
But you're in the right spot at the right time, and you'll sit atop everybody else with 3 races to go in this IROC title. I know you got a 500 lapper, or rather 500 kilometer race, 312 miles for the iSuperSpeedway 500 later on tonight, Seth. So we'll let you go get cooled down, get a little bit of a celebration in, and get ready to get to work tonight in just under an hour or so. Before we let you go, though, as always, sponsors and shout-outs who powered you to your first career IROC win.
I just got to thank all the guys, Josh Henner, Josh Ball, the guys that were in the channel. We were in working together there. And you guys for broadcasting. It's kind of cool that the series is being broadcasted this season. And Rod for putting it on.
All right, well, again, congratulations on your win. I'm sure you would have liked to make it in a lot more convincing fashion, but right place at the right time, a strong run there, let you hang on, and you are the IROC winner at Daytona, Seth. So again, congratulations, best of luck. We'll see you guys in 3 more IROC races this year, but best of luck in the 500 later on.
All right, thank you.
And again, that is your iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions Season 3 season opener winner to Seth the Merchant. So guys, we're bearers of good news because, again, the guys that we talked to that come home 1, 2, 3, cross the line 4, 5, 6. It's crazy how things work at these plate tracks.
It definitely is crazy how it works. Just look at what we're doing right now. So, but no, Seth did a great job. Like I said, 2 times tonight he had to make it through a big wreck, and he did it at the right time at the end there. And I think it was a great call by the officials. I think they got this one right. He deserved it. Drove a hell of a race, made it through the wrecks with no damage, and he did a great job. And overall, I think it was a great start to the series.
Yeah, I really think it was a good officiating by Rod Flag. We might be able to talk to him a little bit later here, maybe even next race, but I really do think the officiating did the right thing by giving that win to Seth the Merchant. I mean, they took in every bit of evidence. At first, I was all for Jason Altman's taking that win. I was pretty sure they did, but then I looked at the replay. I'm sure the officials looked at it in all different ways like I did, but at the end of the day, I really do think they made the right call.
And although this one had a lot more going on than just the peek to the inside, again, if you were with us 1 week ago, that race as well, very close at the end and had to be reviewed. This one not only had something along the similar lines, but a whole lot else went into that decision, and we've caught up with the man that pilots race control here, Rod Flag. Rod, this race comes down to the end, the top 3 across the start-finish line, none of them in the top 3 on the official results. What were you guys looking for in that review, and what did you guys see rather than you decided to give it to the 7 car?
Yeah, there was a racing incident that occurred coming to 2 to go between the 3 car of Rodney Wofford and the 5 car of Jason Altman's. They got caught up in the accident that was going on while the caution was going out and did not maintain their position on the track. So what ended up happening was the 7 of Seth the Merchant, the 4 of Josh Ball, and the 6 of Donnie Giratano maintained their positions and maintained their speed as they did not get caught up in the accident, and were placed 1, 2, and 3. And I was caught up in the accident, but was the first car to start maintaining position and get my position back in the lineup of the cars, and so I was placed 4th. Then the 2, the 10, the 5, the 1, the 9, 3, and 12, and 11. So this is a circumstance where again the leaders had a racing incident. So we're in a situation where we needed to look at who was in the wreck, who was not in the wreck, and determining who won the race.
And just about to mention, you were right in the middle of that as well. The number 8 machine, in this race evidently started in that 8th position in this one. But you were 3rd in line, coming to the white flag. You had to think you were in a pretty good spot, and they wrecked in front of you, and that hole closed up just a little bit too soon for you able to break away into the sunset to turn 1.
Yeah, it was going to be a good finish. It's just unfortunate that the finish ended up the way it did because, we've kind of have a tendency of not giving each other enough room as sometimes we need to, and making some real bonehead moves at the end of these races, which put us in these positions. So sure hope we cleaned it up for this evening there, but we almost I think if that 5 car wasn't there in front of me, or just maybe an inch a little lower, I probably would have won the race, because I'm pretty sure pretty sure I would have had the momentum. But we got caught up in the wreck too, just like most everybody else. But
well, congrats on being not one of the major victims in that one and being able to come away with the top 5 in this one, so you can continue on the track to try to become a back-to-back IROC champion. Again, congratulations on this race and best of luck. I know you got that 500 coming up, so we'll let you get back down out of race control, get down to the race car and get her going.
Thanks, Evan.
And again, that was the man that runs everything at the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series, Rod Flagg. Guys, we talked about it, before we threw it away from commercial. We as well talked while we were away from the commercial break, and I feel like the 7 to set the Merchant the rightful winner.
Yeah, he was a rightful winner. I think it's a tough call no matter who you are, how you race control. You got to play a lot of factors. You're not going to please everybody. I'm sure the 5 wants a recount. I'm sure he'd love to have the win. I'm sure after he's explained the rule and why he made the decision, I'm sure he's okay with it. But still, whenever you get a win taken away or you feel you should have had the win, it's a tough pill to swallow. But these guys get all change cars and get to do it all over again here in a little bit. So tough break, good call. I think the right one was made. But some of these guys, you can't make everybody happy in that position, and you just try to make the best decision you can, and ultimately I think it was.
But in the same sense, I really do feel for Jason Altmans. I mean, I know how he feels in this situation, because I've been in I used to be on the track here, and I actually was in one of those races, I believe it was 2 seasons ago, where I had the win, but unfortunately I went below the yellow line, and because of that happened, and it put me back to 3rd. And I know what it feels like to get that win just ripped out of your hands. It's not a good feeling, but I'm pretty sure Jason Altmans will be able to rally back throughout the rest of this IROC season.
1 down and 3 to go. Rod Car Truck Tour action will resume in 2 Fridays from now and get back on our regularly scheduled programming, but the main event still to come. Tonight, the 3rd annual iSuperSpeedway 500 at Daytona is going to be coming up in just about 45 minutes on LSRTV. You are not going to want to miss that one. And if you thought that was a crazy finish going for an IROC win, wait till the 500 trophy is dangling in front of your eyes. And as well, guys, for the first time now, a win is going to count as a ticket into the iSuper Chase, and you'll be 39 drivers vying for that one spot. And it's all everybody wants at Daytona. You're not thinking points at all. Everybody wants to win the 500. So with that, we step away, and as day turns tonight at Daytona, the IROC cars, the ones that are left, to go back to the garage, we bring out the big boys. The iSuperSpeedway.com 500 coming up in just a few moments. Until then, as we step away, we hope you're with us in just, again, about 45 minutes, 10 o'clock Eastern time for that presentation. On behalf of the broadcast crew for tonight's IROC race, on behalf of myself, Evan Pasoko, for Andy Kessler and Jared Haggerty as well, for Laura Lawson, thank you so much for tuning in. Congrats to Seth the Merchant, now a winner in the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions. He'll join now a list of 5 drivers to pilot a COT to victory lane. He'll lead the points out of this one, but the iSuperSpeedway 500 coming up next. That one going to be on LSRTV. We'll see you then.